Why does it need to verify that it's actually me? What the hell? Okay, one sec. I don't think I even have an active app. I don't. Fucking hell. Sorry, I need to. Get Google on my phone just so I can verify on YouTube. Why? But yeah, anyway, welcome back. It's been quite a while since the New Year's. Yeah, it's just generally, I've just been really busy with life and stuff. But hopefully in the future I'll stream more consistently. I know I'm just doing guerrilla streams everywhere. It's unfortunate, but hopefully in the future, once everything's settled down, I can do this a bit more consistently. So these are cars I bought for like league races. Sorry, just my head blanked out there. For league races, so I am in sort of a racing league, and every once in a while they do races. Oh, what does it take so long to download? Okay, I'm gambling. I'm just gonna gamble that my stream is up on YouTube. Ah, oh, god damn it. Yeah. Tablet, yeah, I had. That's the only way. Fucking hell. Okay. Anyway, no, so last time we did quite a few races, including one rally and one championship. So this time we're doing this one. I think I'm just gonna do two, a relatively short one. So mirror image, which is either using FF or FR cars, sports classics, which is using cars between the 1960s and 1980s. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna use the Genesis for this one. For the Sport Classic, I'll need to take a second look at my garage just to see what's available. But yeah, relatively short one. Okay, let's get this started then. And the first race we're going to, it's Dragon Trail Seaside Reverse. So. Second. Seaside Reverse, okay. Going the other way now. 6 laps. So, what's the weather like? Sunrise. Speed. Yes, so sunny. Okay. Is it done? Yes, it is done, thank God. Sending it? There we go. Okay, there it is. And it's live on YouTube. Good. Okay. Okay, yep. We're up. Let's get racing. Let's see how this goes then. I did race a bit. Oh, let's see Corvette. I did race a bit. When was it? last week, either last week or earlier this week. It's last week. It's last week. So I did race a bit last week, but we're racing our Formula car, so the old Formula that GT added. I think they call it the F1500. So yeah, you can either use the A or the B one, and then we have like our own internal balance of power, like so like you have to limit the car's power to a certain horsepower level. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Like essentially, it's a very casual event, so essentially whoever finished last get to choose which track we're doing. So yeah. Yeah, I was only there for like half of it because I had to make some food for it. Food first before racing, but like we race in Panorama, we race in Nürburgring, race, yeah, quite a few tracks. Race in Gilles Villeneuve as well. So yeah. Yeah, we're gonna lose a lot of time on the straights, but hopefully we can keep up in the corners, and hopefully that's enough. Same for the Genesis actually. I might have again bought that just for like a league race or something. But I think something happened with the server. Yeah, just whatever. Something happened with the server and everybody disconnected for some reason. It was. I don't know what happened, but yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah, so which in the end meant that we had to call it off because like everybody disconnected mid race actually. It happened mid race, so it's a bit too much of a hassle to set everything back up again. But yeah, I do think league racing is like a really good way to enjoy GT7 because um, obviously you know the single player isn't that good, and sport modes, from what I've heard, it can be a bit of a battlefield at times. So like even like it's not really until you get to like in terms of safety rating, at least in terms of get to S in terms of safety rating, that that the players tend to drive pretty cleanly. So before you get to that point, just dealing with a lot of rammers. Yeah, but league racing I think is pretty good overall. So yeah, and people do tend to post like promote themselves here and there. I usually follow them on usually see posts of them on Reddit because that's sort of where I'm most frequent. But yeah, just look for them if you're thinking of getting into some proper racing in GT and don't want to keep banging your head against sport mode. So 1.5 second, goddamn. Okay, well, guess we'll serve that a bit later then. Is the penalty line set at the start finish straight? Could be. Either that or just before the depth chicane. Yeah, it might have. Yeah, it's probably set just before the depth chicane. No. Oh, we just need to be a bit more careful then, so you don't cut too much. Okay, so yeah, I need to keep at least one pair of wheels on the curb. I just can't go all the way into the red, essentially. Red part of the track. Can use that section to catch up a bit, probably a little bit here as well. Yeah, they had to slow down quite a bit here. Ah, another penalty, half a second. Yeah, I need to be careful then. The corner cutting. Yeah, the Dragon Trail in reverse is actually a pretty tricky track, simply because of the way the corners are angled. A lot of them just, I feel, is meant to be driven the other way around. They became corners that's gradually tighten instead of gradually sort of widen up as you go through. Shit! Try for the cut to. Okay, so we still have 2 more laps, but we do have a 1.5 second penalty. So even if we do get ahead, okay. So yeah, we do build up a decent gap at the end of the last corner, but it just closes back up really quickly once you got to the start finish straight. Plus the car is a bit tail happy, so I need to be careful on corner exits. comes. Got a back marker up front. Depending on where we overtake him, might or might not be able to block the Corvette for a bit. Went wide here. That was a bad corner. We just have to block him. Yeah, we got first, but because of the penalty, we won't. Oh well. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but oh well. Anyway, next up. So we got second here. Next is Kyoto driving car. We're doing a lot of reverse. Yeah, this championship is just reverse courses. Okay, interesting. Ah, that's why I called mirror image, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so we're going to Japan next. Driving park. Which one are we doing? Yamika. This one. 6 laps. Weather. It's 13. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I might want a bit of drink. 1 second. That's been doing well. Second. I'm a bit worried about the Porsche here, but there doesn't seem to be anything that's just like outrageously overpowered, like the Corvette last race. Okay, let's see how this goes then. Let's see. Okay, good. Got through a big bunch of them. Yeah, the Porsche is taking the lead, obviously. Should be the fastest car here. Sorry. Oh no! I messed up. Maybe not. Nice. Oh no, somehow made it. Okay. I sincerely thought I'm gonna go wide there into the grass. I don't know if you guys heard, but Subaru recently came out with the latest generation, probably the last actually, not the even latest, but just the last generation of WRX STI. And I don't know why, but people are just bashing on it for some reason. I think it looks decent. Obviously, they did sort of make an electric version, I think, or maybe just an electric concept of a WRX STI. Obviously, people are not gonna like it, because you know it's electric. But yeah, I think the petrol one seems fine. It's like it still looks very much like a WRX. I do think the rear looks a bit too much like the Civic Type R though. I think it looks great. It still uses the oh, okay, 1 second. Still uses the turbocharged boxer engine, so 4 cylinders, 2.4 liters, I think, giving out 270 horses. Not bad. Obviously, it'll be four-wheel drive, which I mean, it's pretty standard affair, all things considered. The bigger changes would probably on in terms of tuning, rather than raw horsepower figures. It'll be interesting to see how they tune this thing. Yeah, we'll see. I suppose we'll see how well everything goes. Yeah, big news in F1 as well. The Toyota is, I think, taking over the Haas, or Kick Sauber actually, taking over Sauber. It might be. Damn it, I forgot. I mean, Toyota is coming back. Toyota is coming back into F1, I think, or at least having a better partnership. Honda is obviously helping out Red Bull again, I think. Actually, no, but, I need to take a second look. Yeah, let's just say that. I do know that Toyota and Honda is coming back somewhat. Obviously, Cadillac is the brand new team here this year. Perez and Bottas helping them to build the team up first before maybe swapping to like um, some of the rookies in the future years. We'll see. The AI isn't really catching up, huh? But yeah, for this year, I think it does. Is this at least so far? It doesn't look too bad for gaming in general. I think if you like avoid like the big AAA studios, look at the smaller ones. The announcements, I think the biggest one is obviously Resident Evil 9 Requiem. But that comes out actually end of February, so yeah, it's actually coming out pretty soon, all things considered. But people have talked about like, hey, they mentioned like, um, so we have two protagonists this time. We do antagonists. So we have Grace, and obviously Leon. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the trailers. But yeah, so obviously Leon will be the more action parts, but Grace will be the more survival horror part essentially. Gameplay will be more survival horror, while Leon will be more action horror. So I suppose the most simplest way to explain it will be Ash. So Grace will be playing. Imagine playing the Grace. So the section you're playing as Grace will be more similar to RE2 remaster. So Resident Evil 2 remaster. While with Leon, you're playing more like RE4 remastered. So it's probably the most apt way to put it. Which, I mean, it can work. I mean, look at Resident Evil Village. So yeah, RE Village. Obviously, for most of the game, you're playing as Ethan. So that's more survival horror with a bit of action mixed in. But obviously, you do play as Chris as well, Chris Redfield. Sort of in the just before the last one third, essentially, I guess. Yeah, and that's pure action essentially. And there is some concern, like I do see some comments saying, hey, with Leon being 50% of the game, would that make like the Grace sections maybe a bit too tedious, like because there's such a big shift in feel between the games. Like obviously with Leon, you know, he can kick people, he can instant kill people with his executions, he can melee people probably. But you presumably can't do any of that with Grace, since you know she's not she's not a badass like Leon. Doesn't quite have the training as Leon. But yeah, there are some people that worry this might make the Grace section not that fun, because you just lose a lot of the tools that Leon has. But yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it was worked out in the end. And there's still a lot of speculation as to who Leon was talking to in the trailer via the radio. People say it's people say it's the little girl that Claire rescued in RE2. I can't quite forget. I forgot her name. Yeah, because she sounds somewhat similar to that character in RE6. But yeah, so far there's still no sort of any confirmation. And obviously the game is going back to Raccoon City, I think. But yeah, there's still actually we don't really know a lot yet. I think they didn't reveal a lot. There's quite a bit of speculation here and there, but I think that's fine. You know, just keep interest in the game instead of spoiling everything. The game I think is most looking forward to is obviously Ace Combat 8. Um, I wasn't quite there when Ace Combat 7 first released, and you know it got all the attention for a bit. Yeah, I did play Ace Combat 7 a little bit. When it was free to download as like a game you get if you get like a premium account on PlayStation Network. And yeah, it's quite fun. Obviously, it's a bit tough for me to get used to, I think, simply with the controls. Yeah, I'm never been the best at in terms of flying video game. Um, but yeah, I can see why fun. And obviously Project Wingman, a very highly rated game as well. Deep Forest, that's reverse. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. What else was announced actually? There's a new tune there. Oh right, there's a sequel to Control. Control is like a first person single player first person game. A Cobra, Shelby Cobra, what the hell? Oh yeah, there's a new Lego Batman as well, which is it seems to at least at the very least they taken inspiration from the combat in Batman Arkham Asylum, so the Arkham series. They seem to have taken inspiration from that, if not an outright copy. But I think people will like it. Like combat in past sort of Lego games has always been very simplistic. I would say just punch and the enemies will sort of fall apart one by one. And obviously, Suicide Squad as well. The Suicide Squad killed a Justice League game. It's a big disappointment. Gotham Knights. I've heard at least it's not. At least it's you like playable, but it's. Oh shit! Okay then. Oh, that's a big crash. Damn. Okay. Uh. Okay. I'm not sure if we can actually catch back up. Yeah, because the Cobra just pulls away so much during this back straight as well as the start line straight. C63 is on right on our butt as well. Ah, damn it. Isn't quite enough technical sort of sectors for me to catch up. Yeah, I think the best thing most we can do is really just hold on to second. Not quite sure we can even catch up. But like at the end of the hairpin back there, we got a 2.7 second gap. It's now 4 seconds and still building. 4 seconds at the end of the back straight. Okay, 1.1 second here. Use like second and a half every time we go into a long straight section maybe. I didn't hit the wall there, which is good for us, I suppose. Careful here, because this part can be a bit tricky. Nice. Jesus, look at that. Closing speed on the Cobra. Slow down a lot there. Panic flash of the high beams. Okay. Oh Jesus. Okay, never mind, it's getting through. I think I always take that corner a bit too early, so I turn in a little bit too early. It is a bit of a weird corner coming from this way. Bit wide here. I have to block a lot. Gap here. It's closing up fast. Nice. Oh, rear is damaged from that bump. I think the angle is about right, just a bit slow maybe. It is the last lap though, so just need to bring it home. Okay, let's see. Which way is he going? Oh, okay. Oh, that was close. That was very close. But that horsepower, man. The amount of horsepower that's under the hood in the Cobra. That's no joke. Anyway, next up is Grand Valley. That's the full course Grand Valley Highway 1. What's the at sunrise? There. Okay, let's see. Oh right, Street Fighter movie. Oh yeah, they're making a Star Wars racing movie using the pod racers. Damn. Okay. Th oh, damn it! I forgot to put it in reverse. This is the right way around the racetrack. So I can't change the racetrack now, can I? Ah, I can't. I have to reset everything then. Sorry. Neo free. Oh, right, Neo. Highway 1 reverse. Sorry, 1 second. Let me set everything back up. Okay. Yeah, I think Warframe is getting like a new update. Oh, Hitman. Oh, Hitman made a. Hitman is getting a new update. New DLC actually, not just an update. DLC. About Battlefield Red Sec. Yeah, I think that's either the extraction shooter or is that the Battle Royale one? Yeah. Yeah, still looking forward to obviously RE9, but also Ace Combat 8. So, and obviously another big, there are a couple few games coming out this year as well. Um, but I don't think they have like a fixed state just yet. So, but I think there was some like bit worrying news in Horizon 6 in a sense that not just from playground games in general, but just um, I think Microsoft mentioned that they would try to use more AI stuff for the big for their future games, which includes big franchises like Halo and Forza. Which, yeah, that doesn't inspire confidence. Let's just let's just say that the way sort of with the way sort of the game industry has handled AI. With Call of Duty and Battlefield, I think as well, being be found using AI arts. Um, if AI is going to be used in anything, it shouldn't really be used in arts and stuff. Generative AI shouldn't. It should probably be used in to assist with coding, to assist with more mundane tasks. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. It's we're we're aren't quite at that stage yet. But I think it could be helpful in terms of just helping with the more mundane stuff. But yeah, but obviously the corporations are just using it to sort of replace the artists because that tends to be a pretty expensive part of making games. Just a bit of a shame. I think another sort of somewhat related news, is Shift Up. So the game company, Korean game company Shift Up. You might not heard of them before, but they make Nikke, which is a mobile gacha game, as well as a Stellar Blade, which I think quite a few people have heard because it's a pretty good sort of action RPG. Said that they do use AI, and he at least the way he justifies it is to bridge the manpower gap. Essentially, he's saying, hey, we don't quite have the resources, the manpower of these big Japanese and Chinese companies, so we use AI to supplement them, supplement our own workers, which uh, it's vague enough to where, well, since he mentioned AI, people are going to be skeptical anyway, but it's vague enough to where there's a lot of possibilities, right? Either, like I said, they could just be using them to help with coding and stuff, which, fair enough. The computers, AI should be rather helpful with that. This is mostly just codes and so coding language. But if they're using AI to actually make some of the art and stuff, then obviously that's a big problem. That just means they aren't willing to. They're just sort of stealing art from people online, since generative AI does base a lot of its stuff based on actual images and art that people post online. So yeah, it's hopefully, but I think the future, at least for now, I think a lot of it will be rested on sort of double A and indie studios essentially, because obviously the triple A studios just uh, lost a lot of its passion. I think lost a lot of its people, or at least aren't willing to let the talent actually give try out some new stuff. Because you know the big success story of last year was Expedition 33, and they're all former Ubisoft employees. You know, not so. It sort of shows that it's not that there aren't people with talent, or it's not that these game companies don't have people with talent or creativity in them, but rather it's just they aren't allowed to sort of try out new stuff or express themselves because of the board of directors or like the state shareholders just don't allow them to. They're too risk averse essentially. So, which you know, it's a bit of a shame. Yeah, but another big news for this upcoming year is obviously GTA 6. It could very well just be delayed again, but well, at least they say it's coming out this year. We'll see. That was close. Really? 2 seconds? Jesus. Because I went a bit too wide back there on the first corner. Another one. Probably because I hit the cone just now. Oh my god, 3 seconds. Another big news for racing games, I suppose, it's the console ports for Tokyo Extreme Racer should be coming out this year. At least I think that's the intention from Genki. So yeah, I might give that a go once it comes out. But obviously they don't get they haven't provided a fixed date yet. I'm just trying to burn down that penalty here and there. Um, yeah, I suppose it's one of the good things with setting up custom races. You can use the slower corners to burn down penalties. I don't know why they removed it from sport mode races, but yeah, it's I'd rather if they're gonna give out penalties just in sport mode, then don't I suppose yeah, I suppose the main problem for me is the enforcement part. Like they enforce it by adding a mandatory slowing zone in like one of the longest straights or something, which it's annoying. It just breaks up your whole flow with the race. And because it's slowdown zone, you just ended up losing more time than the actual penalty. because it takes you back. You know, it takes you time to accelerate back up to speed again. You know. Yeah. But rather they just add it to your total race time at the end of the race. So kind of like what I have set up here. But yeah, oh well. I don't really do too much sport mode races nowadays. So one more lap. I'm not sure how much more I can burn off this penalty, but I'll give it my best shot. Okay, burn it down quite a bit. AC is still right behind us though, so I do need to be careful. Not like waste too much time on burning the penalty. If we can keep, oh no, never mind. If we can keep like a more than a half second gap, then even with the penalty, we still won. But it's probably best to burn off as much as we can, I think. The 80 is faster than us in the straights. Good, good, yeah. The last corner really helps us in terms of getting rid of the penalty. Okay, so what's... Okay, so I got first here. Last race Trial Mountain, so stay in the US then. Around doing drift. Third. Oh, that's why. I did it on strong. Turn it down to weak. Down to weak actually. 6 laps. The weather. Good, good, good. Okay, what's... Okay, this is the last race of the championship. So after that we'll move on to the next championship. phone. 1 second, sorry. Okay. Okay, continue. Oh, there's a goofy road car here. Yeah, the Atenza. That's probably gonna be the fastest car here, I think. Oh, sorry. Oh, and by the way, during the holidays, I played a lot of GT2 because yeah, I went to visit a relative and they didn't really go out much, so I just spent a lot of time playing GT2 on my phone on an emulator, and yeah, it was fun. It was just trying a lot of cars. The races are pretty short as well, because a lot of them are just 2 or 3 laps. It's really only once you get to the higher higher difficulty race, higher level races. So like once that you use race cars, that you go into 5 laps. But obviously the AI back then isn't as sophisticated as it is today, so they are a bit slower, I think. Somehow made it. Yeah, I did enjoy it quite a bit. But now there's only like the long races left for me, so each playthrough I have to spend quite a bit of time. So I haven't played quite as much once after I got back. There's GTR here. I didn't even notice that because I was a bit too focused on the Atenza. Hmm. He is catching up, but not quite as fast, I suppose. Not sure he can make it to the end before he catches up, though. That's the thing. The further away the corner. I have to say though, the older license test, the the license test in GT2 was bloody difficult. It's very difficult. Like you have to drive pretty much perfectly, like the perfect line, perfect turning point, braking points, perfect speed. Otherwise, you're just not getting it. Like with newer GT games, I think there is a little bit more leeway. So yeah. That leeway is like that leeway in older games is razor thin, unlike now where it's a bit more approachable, at least. Man. But one of the special things I think with GT2 is that there is a lot of tuned cars there. So like you have Mugen cars from Mugen, cars from Tom's, cars from Spoon. Obviously you have the Tommy Kairas as well. Yeah, I think what they managed to do with GT2, that's still on the PlayStation 1 by the way. That's before the step up into PlayStation 2, so it's really impressive. And obviously that's the first game with sort of rallying. The rallying events are pretty hard actually. Like you do need like a fully customized car, which I picked a Silica for it, the Toyota Celica GT4, four-wheel drive version of the Celica. Yeah, and as it turns out, the stock one is not good enough, nowhere near good enough. So like I had to like incrementally upgrade it bit by bit with like, you know, engine upgrades, transmission upgrades, bit by bit, and eventually gave it the racing modification as well, just so you can have a bit of downforce. Only then is it good enough to compete. But even then, it's not quite good enough to compete with full-on rally cars. I think the main oh no, wait 1 second. I think the main issue there isn't necessarily the lack of power, but the downforce that the rally cars have a bit more than what you can do, what you can achieve with rally with racing modifications. So yeah, if I'm gonna finish those rallying races, I'm probably gonna need to buy a proper rally car. Obviously, that's also the first game with the Escudo, Escudo Pikes Peak. There's also the Tigra, Foxhole Tigra Ice Rally car. Yeah, quite a few choices. They are very expensive though, so earn some money before you can buy those cars. Race cars in general in GT2 is just expensive. Like it's not really worth the price. Plus, you earn quite a few of them anyway, if you during your playthrough. So unless there's like a one where you really want, there's not really much point in getting them. Because obviously to 100% the game, you have to finish all the one make events. So yeah, like most of the car companies in the game have like a one make event for like a specific car brand. So the first and each one make has like 2 levels. The first level you can just compete with a normal street car, but the second level requires you to have a race car. So you either use one of your gift cars that just so happens to match. Say you want a Viper race car, then you can use that in a Viper one big race. But if not, then you just have to buy the street car and then upgrade it to the racing, upgrade it to, and then install the racing modification, and then use it for that one make race. So yeah, you need a lot of cash to finish the game, 100% the game. And that's not to mention the license test. You have to, I believe, get all gold in the license test. Yeah. And obviously getting all gold is pretty tough. So, yeah, but yeah, I think it's worth a try. I think like anybody who can afford to get an emulator on their phone or on their PC or laptop, I think it's worth a try. It's just a different generation, I suppose, different mindset when it comes to making games back then. One thing I do find interesting back then though is that the used car dealership, it's only available for Japanese car brands. Like if you go to European or American car brands, they don't have a used car dealership. So if you want to start a car, you're either getting something that's really underpowered from the European car dealerships, or you have to pick Japanese. There's so much, way better value for money. Which, I mean, I think they did fix that in GT3 and GT4, but yeah, it is a bit weird for GT2. Like, what if someone wanted to start the game using a European car? Like, why not? It's not that you can't, but you're sort of incentivized to start the game using a Japanese car simply because, you know, they have a used car dealership, which means you can get a way better car for the same price. Okay, what's next? Got a good distance here, like they aren't really catching up to us after everything. Despite everything, so... Okay, okay. Relatively easy win this time. And that's this championship done. So the next one is the Sport Classics. So we need to use something the 60s, 60s, 70s, yeah, 60s and 70s essentially, because the last year allowed is 1980. We'll see. 485 pp limit. That's not a lot, is it? Like even the CSL, I think. Yeah, I do have the Sport Tar tires on here. What else do I have? Stratos? Oh god, I put a ton of stuff onto the Stratos. Yeah, the Stratos is out of the question then, I'm afraid. Merak technically qualifies. I might just use the CSL then. Already pretty close, all things considered. Oh no, the Merak is just in 485, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, both the Merak and the CSL can fit. But yeah, let's give the CSL a go. Haven't a while. But we can put in a little bit of upgrades here and there. So I believe we already have sport hard tires on the CSL. 1 second, let me check. Yeah, we do. So what can we do to it though? 85p. Why not? Same filter. Yeah, 1 stage of rate reduction and a basic filter should be enough. Okay, so first race, Goodwood. Okay. 6 laps. 10 cars? Yes, indeed. Late morning. It's cloudy. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Oh, we do have a rain race. Where is it? It's Autopolis. Oh boy. Whoosh! 1 second. Okay, I'm back. We do have a Testarossa behind us. So yeah. There's no immediately car that stands out. Not sure my main competitor. Car's handling quite nicely though, which is good. Oh, come on. Maybe staying in third actually. Second gear is pretty slow. Another thing with GT2 though is because the stock sort of suspension setup just is terrible for rallying. I had to look up a guide to how to tune properly in GT2, which is obviously T-Kanji. If you haven't heard of him, he's I guess content creator. I'm not really sure. Maybe a modder even that does a lot of tuning guides and sort of breakdowns of older GT games. Yeah, and he posted a tuning guide for GT2 I think a year ago. I took a look at that to help with the tuning of the Silica for rallying, and it helped a lot. I'll be honest, it did help a lot. It just makes the car a lot more responsive because obviously with GT2 rallying, quote unquote, is very primitive. It's just sort of it still very much feels like grip driving or road driving, but just you're driving on an ultra low grip road instead of more modern games where you can slide a bit. You can brake too late there. So with like more modern titles, rallying does feel a bit better in the sense that you can keep your momentum and just slide through corners. You can't really do that in GT2. It's still very much grip driving. So yeah. It's not that you can't do it, but it's very hard to do it intentionally, which is what you really want with rallying anyway. Which is really what you want with rallying. You know, you can slide the car intentionally to keep up the momentum, but you can't really do that in GT2. So yeah, but it helped quite a lot. So if oh, so yeah, if you want to, so for those that looking to play GT2, I do suggest looking up the tuning guide. It's very helpful. But one of the sort of main risks, I guess, or like downside of tuning is that the car you drive does lose a bit of its personality, because you know you're optimizing it essentially. And yeah, I try not to tune too drastically from the base setup, but I do look to improve the car essentially. Like make it a bit more stable, but still keeping some of its handling quirks here and there. That's my idea of tuning anyway. Sure, we can catch up to the Ferrari. We're struggling to catch up to the M3 already. That's a that's an M3. I think we just lose a bit too much time in the straights. Allow it to let us catch back up sufficiently. This might be it. Jesus, Ferrari's long gone. one more lap after this, so probably gonna try though. Cap as much as I can. And obviously we still have the penalty to get rid of somehow. I don't think we're getting rid of that. We need to push for this final lap. Bump there. The horsepower advantage over us. Ah, damn it. Damn, that was very close. One more lap, I think I would have got him. I've made a few mistakes here and there as well, so that didn't help. Okay, next is our topless, and that's a rain race. Yikes. Okay, so I think that's in Japan, isn't it? Yeah, there. Five laps. Okay, in terms of weather. Looking at sunset. 7 times speed. But it doesn't really start heavy, so probably gonna light rain. Let's see who's. Oh, why did I quit? God damn it! Sorry, my bad. Okay, let's go. A little bit worried considering it's raining, but let's see. There's two Civic Type R's up front. But the muscle cars definitely overpower us in raw speed, but they can't corner very well. And our top list is pretty. There are some technical parts here. Might be the Civics or even the Impreza, the 22B. It might be the fastest car here. It's still relatively dry. Okay. Hairpin coming up. You can break a bit later, but I feel I don't know. Oh, why did he break so much? Second bit. Yeah, the Topaz is I don't know. I never really liked that weird flow of the track, especially this last part. Very tricky. Yeah, let's see if we can catch up to Subaru. Oh, messed up. Okay, okay, this is not looking good. The track is pretty much dry now. It's really only this corner that the AI is just slow. Everywhere else they're keeping up with speed. Here as well, based on how the Civic drove. Oh, no, no, no. Probably doesn't need second. Yeah, I guess this last section for slow sweepers doesn't need second. Keep it in third and try to keep up speed. The fair lady got a fast lap. Interesting. That's the car right behind us. No rain so far. Probably pick like a sunny or at least most a cloudy weather in the middle. Nothing on the radar. We'll only see rain again the last lap. Okay, nice. Yeah, it's the Fair Lady. That's the fastest car here. Not the Subaru. Oh god, okay, yeah, maybe brake a bit too early there. Am I braking a bit too much? Yeah, this is closer than I thought. Yeah, the Impreza and the Fair Lady is pretty much right behind me this whole time. Can pull away a bit here. The weather looking. Still nothing. Yes, I did. Did brake a bit too much. Got a good lead. Oh, the Fair Lady got past the Subaru. Okay. Got a very good lead going here, though. Just need to keep. Ah, went wide. I was saying, just need to bring it home. No drama. Ah, shit, I forgot. Just let a car roll through that corner back there. Gas. Nice. It just ended up becoming a dry race, so well. Anyway, on to the next one. This brand, okay, back to Brands Hatch. Checking. Yeah, I did put in rain at the end, but I never got to that point. Back to now. Five laps. Oh. There we go. Whoosh. Okay, let's see how this goes then. You have the 911 up front. Oh, the 22B again. Hello. Okay, nice. The Impreza remake main edition this time. Hey, beautiful. And I don't think the AI will really have a chance to catch up. We messed up big. Brands Hatch, it's sort of a medium speed circuit, all things considered. There are a couple of big straights, but they're not that long. Nice. A relatively comfortable one then. Nice. You know, now that I have a PS1 emulator on my phone, I could try out some other games as well. Like, there's I think the first three Resident Evil, so Resident Evil 1 essentially. Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 as well. Also, I can if I want to try out the OG versions. Also, the original Final Fantasy VII. So back then, Final Fantasy VII, FF7 is turn-based, I believe. So turn-based RPG. It's not a action one like the remake is. And there's also original Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Solid 1. Yeah. Not sure what else though. I can definitely look them up, I suppose. But the emulator doesn't just support PS1, it supports a whole lot of consoles. It's just a matter of finding the right cores. The emulator calls it cores, but essentially just a console system, essentially. It's just a matter of finding the right console system to put in. It's still right behind us. Yeah, I think, you know, with the rise of emulators, could argue it's actually a lot harder for new games to make a mark now, because obviously people can just play the old ones. Not a lot. It's not um like a big concern, because you know unless you're really into this kind of stuff, most people probably doesn't even know what an emulator is. But I suppose it is something to keep in the back of your mind. But I think there is, even then, it's not like, you know, people aren't playing old games. A lot of game consoles does give you the option to buy or download old games and play it on them. So for example, the Switch, I believe Switch 1, I'm not sure if Switch 2 has it or not, but the Switch, oh, second, Switch 1 has an emulator that allows you to play old Nintendo games, you know, from the N64 and SCS era. And obviously with PlayStation Network, you can play PlayStation 1, PlayStation PS1, PS2 games back again. I mean, I think recently, like about maybe a few months ago or maybe half a year ago, like you can download PlayStation RE1, RE2, and RE3 original ones on PlayStation via PlayStation Networks. I think the appeal is definitely there for people to play back old games from the 90s and 2000s. It's just a matter of how accessible it is. Like with PlayStation Network, you need to buy one of the premium memberships. With emulator, you need a bit of technical know-how. You know, find and find the correct course to download, find the correct emulator to use. But it's all there, so I can sort of understand where, you know, some people say, oh, making a new game is so much harder now because they don't just have to compete with other new games but also old games because emulators and old games are much more accessible now. But I don't know. It does sound a bit of an excuse to not make games. There is talent here, like Expedition 33, Balatro. A lot of indie games show that there is plenty of talent now. It's just a matter of letting them be creative about it, not try to drag them down with, corporate bullshit. Anyway, last race of the championship, like Maggiore. Of course, 5 laps. Good. Like I said, I would like to keep this stream relatively short. So yeah, gonna be the last race for the night. Okay, what do we have here? There's a Testarossa again. Oh, so that's probably our main competition this time. Look at it go! Holy hell! M3 Evo behind us. In terms of tuning, I like to just never got around to it. I like to tune a R32. So why R32 specifically is because so in Wanga Midnight, obviously you have the two hero cars, the Fairly DC, which which unfortunately you can't really get it to that level yet. I think the max you can go to is like 400 horses. But obviously, but in Wanga Midnight, the Devil Sea, essentially the hero car, is like 600 horses. So, because I think the big difference is that in GT7, you can only add one turbocharger to cars. But in Wanga Midnight, the Devil said it's twin turbocharged, hence why it can produce 600 horses. And the other, I guess, hero car as well, it's the Blackbird, which is a tuned, I'm not sure which generation of 911 it is, but it is an older generation 911. So yeah. It is an older generation 911, and also it still also has 600 horsepower, which I'm pretty sure that's unachievable with the stock engine, but you can engine swap it. So yeah, that is an option. But there's also another sort of character, because if you don't know, the Wanga Midnight storyline is actually just the story is based around this the Devil Said and the Blackbird, so they're sort of the reoccurring main characters. But then characters come and go to challenge them essentially on the Wangan highway system, on the Tokyo Bay highway system. And the whole story is about these people sort of going through their mindset, um, their mindset on the whole story is about going all through all these people, um, like looking into their minds about how they tune cars, their mindset about why they race, why they chase this dream, even though how dangerous and sort of money hungry, money bit of a money sink. Let's be honest here, tuning cars. think it is. So, and their philosophy on, you know, why they pick this car, etc., etc. It essentially just reveals what they think about life in general, their whole philosophy on living, essentially. But yeah, anyway, one of the characters inside does drive an R32. It's a white R32 that replaced the rear wing with a duck spoiler, essentially. So it's like a curve instead of a proper rear wing. So, and it doesn't quite have 600 horses, but it does have 500 horsepower. Yeah. And the fandom wiki actually is actually quite helpful in the sense that it actually tells you like, hey, these are the rims these are the visual mods that it used. So you can pretty much just create a one-to-one replica in GT7. It's pretty nice. So yeah, I do want to make something like that. So like a white R32 with a duckbill spoiler, 500 horsepower. But just never quite got around to it. I'm not sure if that is even achievable with the stock engine. I might need to engine swap it, but when I got around to it, I suppose I will see. Nice. We keep a good gap from the Ferrari, so if everything goes well, we should be fine. Nice. Yeah. Keep the car steady. No need for dramatics. Quiet there. Still keeping him behind us though. Nice, nice. More laps though, so bit of a calm one, I suppose. Chill one. Ah, I went wide. Slow down enough. Okay, nice. Yeah, I braked too late, too early. Oh no! Oh no! I need to lock in after all. Yeah, I definitely drove a lot slower this lap. Holy hell! How is he this fast? I think he caught us slipstream or something. But he was closing in really fast just now. I was just looking at the radar. Okay, okay. Much better. Okay, nice. Right on the edge. And it's a bit too late for him to catch up. Nice, okay. That's one more down. So just the last two championship now for the National League. But yeah, so the first one. Okay, let me get out left with. So we're left with this one. No, that's Sport Classic. Supercharged, which is where we need to use a car that has got a low-end supercharger to it. I believe we discussed. I believe the Camaro is eligible, so I could very well. Let me take a look. Yeah, you already. Yeah, so with the Camaro with the low-end supercharger is 582, which is just below the PP limit. 585, so we can use that. And the last one is this one, which is just requires you to say road car with 565 pp. So there's quite a few choices. I mean, there's the Corvette, there's the Evo 9, there's the Tuscan Speed 6, yeah, there's S2K as well, Subaru again. Yeah, there's a few choices. But yeah, after those two, I do want to talk about what I want to do afterwards, but that's for next stream. Um, Probably gonna be Wednesday. Yeah, let's say Wednesday for now. But yeah, yeah, let's say next Wednesday then for the next stream. But yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye.